after 2 months in Baja, we're finally on our way back up north. We just left our family who came to visit, and we're driving 7 hours today, and hopefully by the end of the week we'll be back in the United States, so we'll take you along for the journey. Leaving Baja is so bittersweet. We've had some of the very best memories and made incredible friends over the last 2 months. Waking up on the beach every day and watching whales from shore is something that I'll never forget, and I will definitely miss it. It was the perfect winter. We slowed down and relaxed. I don't even want to know the amount of tacos I consumed in the past 2 months. I'll look back so fondly on this time, where we spent nights laughing with friends over campfires and spent the days splashing in the waves. But I am ready for a little bit of alone time with just Dylan and me. We've been with people for 9 weeks straight, which is fun, but can be tiring even for an extrovert like me. Plus, the two of us have a lot of exciting plans and adventures that I cannot wait to do back in the States. So it's definitely getting me through this long drive. Plus, we are listening to a great fantasy series. Let me know which one you think it is in the comments. On our first day of driving, we drove 7 hours from Cerritos Beach all the way to Bahia Concepcion to stay at one of our favorite beaches, Playa Coyote. Alright, we just drove like 7 hours or so. Made it back to one of our favorite beaches, but it's clear that people are clearing out because there's so many spaces open, which makes sense. It's now the beginning of April. I'm sure people leave in like the end of March. Once you live in a van for a while, it's kind of easier to do a 7-hour drive. Like, it doesn't feel as long, at least not to Dylan and I, because we move kind of fast. Maybe that's not true for all van people, but that's how it feels for us. Like, we don't feel that tired after a 7-hour drive. Not to say it isn't tiring, because it is. But now we're in this beautiful beach. I'll show you our spot. Sleep here the night, and then we're gonna decide if we're gonna move tomorrow or stay another night here and keep going north. So when we came here a couple months ago, there was no spots open with the palapas. People want these spots because you can hang out in the shade, put a chair in there. But those aren't open usually. They're open now because everyone's leaving. So also, we didn't want to grocery shop before going across the border because you have to get rid of a lot of things like produce. You can't bring a lot of that across the border. You can't bring meat across the border. So we're just going with what we have left from when our family was here and in general what we have. So tonight we're like just doing ramen, keeping it simple, keeping it easy. Long drive days, that's kind of what we do. It is absolutely perfect out, which makes it hard to leave, but it also means like we need to keep going because otherwise we'll just want to stay here forever. It's absolutely gorgeous. We've got another long drive to do today and the solar eclipse is happening, so gonna have to pull over on the side of the road and use our cameras because we don't have the glasses. We got to protect our eyes. We left midday to get a start on the drive. The whole time I was a little distracted by the fact that the solar eclipse was coming. You can't really tell from the videos, but the whole area started to get dimmer. Cabo and La Paz were expecting 96% totality, so they weren't far off the path. We ended up pulling over at a random gas station and meeting a man there. We watched it through our strainer.
Yes.
What?
this is what it should look like. This is what it looks like.
The nice man had been biking for the past year, and he was on his way up to the States as well, although it will take him just a few more days than us to reach the top. After chatting and stopping to see the eclipse, we got back on the road for more hours of driving and one of our favorite stops on the drive to Baja. You might think we'd have our fill of fish tacos, but this stop is always worth it. Okay, we made it to Guerrero Negro and to our favorite taco spot in all of Baja. They're so good. You can't go drive to Baja without stopping here. It's called Tacos El Muelle and it is the best. I'm so pumped. Dylan got 4 tacos. All right, tacos down. So good. It's gonna help us get through the next, I think we have 4 more hours of drive. I need to look it up, but here we go. Gas stations here, you don't pump your own gas, and oftentimes they'll clean your windows, and so we usually pay with card and then give cash tip. There are some rules and things you have to get used to when driving around Baja, like tipping the gas attendants. One of them is to beware because wild animals will cross the road at any minute. Another is that there are military checkpoints throughout the drive. Sometimes they will come in and inspect your van, but it's usually chill. The number one rule though is to not drive at night, because there are potholes throughout the road and wild animals as well. So we do our best to get to all of our destination before the sun sets. I usually plan out all of our drives ahead of time so we know we will make it, but there have definitely been a couple close calls during our time here. We made it after driving 8 hours today. Very tiring. But we've made it to another free beach spot. There's a nice sunset going on. We made it before dark, which is key. And tired today after 2 days of long driving, but can't complain when you're on a free beach. Gonna miss it here. Pulling together another meal while on the road. We won this Japanese curry while we were in Japan at Uniqlo in Japan in Tokyo. We're using this, and then we have udon, some instant udon noodles, so we're gonna put the curry on the udon. Call it a night. Uniqlo did a pretty good job with their Japanese curry. Pretty good dinner, solid. The next morning we woke up and worked for the whole day in the van. In fact, you can see me editing a YouTube here. We didn't get outside much or walk around the van. After crushing some work, we decided to leave, but little did we know we had a major problem. Bad news. We have a flat tire, and now we have to deal with it. Well, that was a major surprise that we found out after starting to drive and the car's tire pressure thing went off. We were on a sandy road, but we had a jack hit, so I wasn't too worried about getting it fixed. Once you get that thing off, then you're going to take the middle part out. These are times when I'm very happy that I am not alone on the road. Although we problem solved together, Dylan did most of the heavy lifting on this one. Alright, we've got the jack on a piece of wood because we're in sand, so we don't want the jack to sink into the sand. We're on harder sand, but still, it's sand, not a road. And we somehow completely blew our tire. We don't know when it happened. Could have happened last night before we went to bed, but that's how our border crossing starting. Okay, we've taken a panel off the roof because it's sturdier than the sand and it's pretty thick. It's like, I think it's 3/4 inch or maybe it's 1.5 inches. I don't really remember, but it's definitely sturdier to use as to put the jack on so that everything's okay. You can see the smaller piece of wood that we were using originally. Although it was somewhat working, I was worried that it would snap in half, so we ended up taking a wood deck piece off of our roof and it worked like a charm. It was the perfect flat surface to put the jack up and lift the van. Although it was incredibly hot and we were both sweating under the direct sun, Dylan had to use all of his strength, a lot of kicks, and hard work to get the tire off the van. Like I said before, I'm not really sure what I would have done without Dylan because it did take a lot of strength to get this one off. Once we got our old tire off, we saw that there were a couple of holes and we're really not sure when they happened or how they happened. But luckily, we got it off. Spare tire is aligned and on. Now I gotta put the lugs back on. Moment of truth, we're gonna see if the spare tire will at least get us to the tire shop. Luckily in Baja, everyone gets flat tires, so there's like a tire shop every 2 minutes. We're gonna head straight to the tire shop. Current status of the tire, it's in the van. Hello. There are llanteras or tire shops every couple of miles in Baja because getting a flat tire is not a rare occurrence. There's just a lot of rough roads with different textures, rocks, and things like that that can easily cause a flat. We got lucky that we haven't had one up until now. But these guys at the tire shop were great. They got our wheel off, fixed, and patched in absolutely no time at all. They patched our tire. We're on the road again. We're hoping that it's all good. It was literally, they asked for 200 pesos, which is about $11. We tipped them 100 pesos because they did so much, and I was like, it would have been so much more in the US, basically. Anyways, we're good. And they spend our pesos. What? And we need to spend our pesos because we're about to cross the border, exactly. So we're gonna go check, make sure our tires are okay, and then we're back to the mission to cross the border. Also, we're trying to spend all of our pesos before we cross the border. So we've just got tons of snacks that aren't available in the US. We still have 500 pesos left. That's not that much. We'll see if we can spend them before the border, but we're like 2 hours away. So we'll see. We did another military checkpoint and came in for literally 0.1 seconds, and I think that's the last one. I could be wrong. We could have one more before we hit the border. Luckily, I was right, and there were no more military checkpoints on our way to the border. The drive was about a couple hours from San Felipe to Mexicali, which is where we planned on crossing. Luckily, everything went smooth, our patched tires seemed to be fine, and we just hit a little bit of traffic along the way. But you know you're getting very close when you start to see the border wall lining your drive. We stopped at one last OXXO to we were thinking about getting tacos. We didn't find a taco stand on our way, probably because it's like dinner and most of the taco stands are open for lunch. But we got more snacks. We now have like 150 pesos left. That's like 10 bucks, so we're gonna call it. So many people told us like that they accidentally ended up in the Sentry lane, which is pretty much global entry, but you also pay for your car to be a part of it. And so I'm was so stressed about it that I made Dylan go past the exit and do a U-turn back into the normal car line. But I think we're in the right place, heading across border. It's 6:15 now, so we'll see how long it takes us to get across. Even though we've crossed a border over 6 times in the van, I get nervous each time. It's not that we're doing anything wrong, but you always feel like you might be. And I've heard a number of horror stories about border crossings. So we try to make sure that we have everything on hand ahead of time and we are well prepared. Well, there were like a max height of 9 feet over in the regular lane, so a guy indicated for us to go over and he opened a lane for us to go through because we are tall, obviously. And now there's a second checkpoint. Not sure what this part is. And just like that, we're back on US soil. The guy did ask us a couple quick questions. He like flashlighted into our van really briefly, opened the doors, opened the back doors, knocked on the door, don't know what that was for, and then he was like, all right, have a good one. Although he did ask us where we were going, and we were both kind of stopped and didn't know where we were going, but we answered to Yuma, Arizona, and then he led us on our way. We had a magical 2 months in Baja, and an eventful drive back today with that tire. All is well. We're gonna get some new tires soon, and we're ready to be exploring the US again. Well, we're back in the States and we're happy to be here. It means more fast food, of course, but so many beautiful places. So like and follow along for more.